This is Lucas Ryder, executive producer and co-writer of episode 708, The Hawaladar. You're listening to the Blacklist Exposed on Golden Spiral Media.
I sure hope Glenn had a second half to that meatball sandwich. Welcome back to the award-winning The Blacklist Exposed podcast. I'm Agent Troy Heinrichs.
And I'm Agent Aaron Peterson, and I am vehemently against zoos, so I'm super happy Maddie's beating up Red's friends, so Liz couldn't take Agnes to those animal prison farms. Set the pandas free, Agnes! Free. Thanks for joining us once again as we discuss number 162 on the Blacklist, The Hawaladar. It was written by John Bokenkamp and Lucas Reeder, and directed by Paul Hallahan. How you doing?
I'm good to talk about the Hawaladar.
Hawaladar? Show notes and other intel for this episode of The Blacklist Exposed can be found at theblacklistexposed.com.
I'm at least glad they explained it because, well, I'm kind of actually mad they explained it because they had a really cool ditty that I was going to do.
About Jack and Diane?
About two African kids growing up across the Sudan. How they transferred money between each other.
Well done. I'm drinking because Troy has theories this week, so I need alcohol.
Everybody's got theories. Ilya reveal. I have to say this, though.
That's twice this season I've had to bring a beverage. I'm just letting you know.
I'm a little miffed. I mean, I love Cerrone. I'm glad he's back. But he does tweet a lot. And we can't really take what he says on Twitter as truth. But I mean, holy crap. It's like, I know you answered the question immediately at the front of the show because Red says Ilya at the front of the show tonight. Mm-hmm. Could you just let that play out and let people stew on it for a week instead of just being like, confirmed?
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of happy it was confirmed. Like, honestly. So people, because what he did is he tweeted last week right at the end of the show, which we didn't get to, but Daniel Cerrone tweeted that, yes, Ilya is not Red Reddington that we know, blah, 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 blah. And you wish he would not have tweeted that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, if you want to get the suspense going for the week, if you know you're already going to answer it in the next episode, just let the fans do the fan thing. It kind of ruins the fan thing for the week.
Didn't ruin anything for me. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. I like when I get clarity. I'm a big fan of clarity. Even though I have a hard time considering something that doesn't happen in the show canon, but at least it makes me feel a little bit better. I'm
just glad he's back. It was a good episode last week.
And on Twitter, he called Katarina, just so you know.
Because she is Katarina.
I know, I'm just saying. I mean, you can keep wanting to dance around that too, so.
Just like Raymond is Raymond.
Oh, God. All right, so let's move on. What do we got?
All right. Well, we'll get into the profiling question of the week. We'll get into the case profile. We'll talk about the Hawaladar.
Let's call it the colander because that's easier to say. And I don't want to butcher any.
I suppose it works. They sift names. Money. Without there actually big money that comes out the other side. I guess that would work.
Hawaladar, right? Hawaladar.
Hawaladar.
I don't know how they did this in the set because I seriously would have been like, Big H. That's what I would have done.
But we got to get to the profiling question first. So big question is, of course, with the Ilya reveal, do you all think that this woman that we see right now on screen, the blonde woman, is indeed Katarina Rostova?
With over 500 votes just today alone, the answer is 70% say yes, this is the Katarina Rostova. And that's just today. That was it's about 70% across the board already.
You're just like Cerrone, man. Don't let the buildup happen. Like 70% say yes. With enthusiasm.
I'm not Bokenkamp. I'm not going to drag it out for 8 or 9 years. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
You're welcome.
Oh.
I'm pretty proud of that.
I'm laughing. All right. Well, 70% say yes. Aaron says yes. I say
yes as far. Hang on. I say yes as far as I know. Look, I'm never ruling anything out. I don't, except for Red Arena, Double Switch, and actually I don't even rule out Red Arena. I'm not saying that there's no possibility. I just said I don't believe in it, and there's way more evidence to go a different direction than there is that one. And I kind of try to keep on the right road for me personally.
And the twins.
Twins is possible. I would just hate it. Put it that way. Like, I completely acknowledge twins is always plausible. It's literally the plot line I hate the most in the world.
So you're having the Blacklist taste test challenge and you have Red Arena and Twins. Which one do you hate more?
I don't hate Red Arena. I've told you this before. I think it's a cool theory. I just don't think it works. And I think it would be hard. How many times do I got to say this? It would be hard to sell it because it directly would. Man, I grew up in a psychology household. Okay. It would directly feel like an insult to that community. So because you don't change your gender simply to hide. It's the opposite of what is the right message for that community. So that's why I really don't like it. It's a personal opinion. I mean, hey, you're granted to feel however you want. I am too. And that's how I feel about it. When you're raised by someone who's in psychology all the time, this stuff just seeps into your soul. It's just not much I can do about it. It's who I am. Thanks, Mom.
Well, let's talk about this one that came up from Douglas. Okay. I mean, now we all know Douglas is like the champion of the Red Arena camp. He's like taking over for my job because I did say that if Katarina ever showed up on screen with Red at the same time, then I would drop the theory, right? Because present day, kind of hard to do.
You literally said last week you don't believe it.
I don't believe in Red Arena.
This is where my head's going to hurt.
But he brought up some really interesting points when he was talking to me the other day. So his theory is that...
Who is this? Who is this?
Douglas Baumgauer.
Okay.
Okay, so Douglas is saying that maybe it is possible that redheaded Katarina from the past that we've all known over the years, and then you have this blonde woman that we see today, maybe they're actually two different people because of the whole weirdness that happened in 702 with Dom and the talking and... Is it the daughter? Is it not the daughter? Why is he like mad at it? Why is the daughter trying to kill Dom and all that stuff? Maybe this is a person, the blonde woman we see today, maybe this was a person that Dom hired specifically to protect his daughter, Katarina, by having her take the personality on and draw away the bad people from his daughter. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting concept. I don't think that would really make the Red Arena thing plausible. But I like this idea of there being potentially more than one Red Arena. And so much like we've always said on this show specifically...
Wait. More than one Red Arena or more than one Katarina?
Sorry, Katarina. Freudian slip. My bad.
Was it though?
More than one Katarina. And what we've always said on the show is if you have a good theory, use the show to back it up, right? So I went back and I kind of looked through some stuff.
You cherry-picked.
I did cherry-pick, but...
Thank you. As long as you're acknowledging you cherry-pick. This is I can make, how many times we got to say this too? I can make any theory work I want to if I go back and just cherry pick dialogue to make my theory work. That's all you're doing right now is you're cherry picking. Now, I'm not talking about you, Douglas. I'm talking about what Troy's about to do. It's cherry picking. Everyone listening should know there's 100 other lines of dialogue that actually go completely against this. But, let's ignore those. Let's just do what you want there. Go ahead.
So let's make a new theory because we're all over the map right now. We all... Red was Ilya, Red's not Ilya anymore, right?
Well, we could just talk about the episode that happened, but whatever.
But in this case, we're going to call this theory the 00 Rostova theory. Basically, it means that like 007 is a designation, right? James Bond is James Bond. It'll always be James Bond. But James Bond gets the designation of 007. So maybe Katarina Rostova is a designation. And there are multiple ladies throughout the course of the last 30 years that have held this title of Katarina Rostova. And if you go back to episode 220, when Red talks to Liz about the photo that she found in his flat, her and her mom, Red does say that the girl is you and the woman is your mother. And Liz says, what was her name? And Red says, I knew her as Katarina Rostova, one of her many names. This means that Liz's mom could have been known by other aliases. And it also puts the hanging chat out there that maybe other women could have also had the Katarina Rostova flag, which then gets kind of even brought up further in 221 when we hear Liz questioning the guy, and she says that Katarina Rostova, have you ever heard of her? And the guy says, I have no idea who that is, but I doubt very seriously that this is Katarina Rostova. I don't think there's any photographs of Katarina. She's a myth, tall tales, late at night over vodka shots, probably an amalgamation of half a dozen unknown female Soviet operatives.
I love how you put emphasis on the syllables you want to put emphasis on.
I'm just glad I got
the dialogue was not spoken that way. I'm just letting everybody know.
I'm just glad I got amalgamation right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we go back to 702 and the whole Dom talk that he had with Red, And Red's talking about the whole, like, she knows you betrayed her, Dom. You tried to kill her. She wants answers, but she wants revenge. You set her up to betray her. And Dom's like, I never betrayed Katarina. She betrayed me, not just me, our country, our values, our entire way of life. Those are consistent with words that Dom says to Red specifically in 618 when he said that my child betrayed everything I believed in. She turned her back on my country and on me. And because she was a traitor, people assumed that I was one as well. So what's really interesting there is that Red and Dom are having the conversation and said, you forgave Katarina Rostova, but not me. And Dom says, I forgave my child. Doesn't say Katarina Rostova specifically. So there is a possibility that there could be someone else playing Katarina Rostova today, and Dom's child, Liz's mother, the grandmother of Agnes, could be somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think it's a bit of a stretch in terms of just genuine storytelling? That's very close to soap opera material, don't you think?
But if you look at the show and you look at the whole concept,
I'm looking at the show, and I'm looking at the whole show. I'm not just looking at the lines you picked to supplement your theory. I'm saying if you look at the whole show, so how many people are we going to have that are not who they say they are, and they're different people? I mean, we're just going to keep playing the shell game? That's your plan?
I don't disagree that gets a little bit old after a while and is a little bit maybe jump the shark. But I
just want to point out, this isn't what the show. This is just theory. This is just you
theory.
Talking. This isn't actually something that has been shown in the show or been demonstrated. It's just, throwing darts.
Speculation. Right?
Throwing darts.
Yeah. Because that's all we can do at this point because of all the switcherooing that's been happening in the last 6
we got
episodes.
A whole episode we could actually be talking about, but go ahead.
I'm just saying there could be multiple people that could have had the Katarina Rostova designation over the years.
Okay. And then who's Red?
I still don't know that.
Okay. Well, I know that's a popular theory. That's actually been around since last season. That's not new.
Right.
So you can buy into it if you want. I'm not shooting it down. I actually have no idea. The thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to jump on, and I've told you this before on this podcast, I'm not going to jump to things that haven't been introduced in the show. So until we get to that episode where that becomes a reality, I'm not going to jump on there. I have no reason to go that way because I have more indications that it is. Now, could it? Absolutely. Sure. I'm still not, I have no faith whatsoever in the Red Arena theory. It's a personal opinion. I'm not knocking anybody that believes in it. Just for me personally, it's not for me. Now, could this not be Katarina Rostova? Sure. Could it be a designation? Sure. Could that be a stretch? Absolutely. And there are certain things where I just feel like at some point people are trying too hard to make whatever they've gotten stuck on to work. So there's a lot of theories that feel like cherry picking dialogue to make whatever you personally believe work. And that's fine. If that makes you happy to do it, it just doesn't make me happy as a viewer. I like to enjoy the show as I see it. And then as things change, okay, all right, we got new information. All right. Just like Ilya, we never thought that Red was actually Ilya because, you don't see him. And a whole lot of the dialogue spoken in that episode was Liz making assumptions. So, I mean, there are things that Liz is assuming that we don't actually see. So we can't take that as fact, obviously. I only take what I saw on screen as a fact. Those kinds of things. So I'd rather just take the pieces I actually get and put those together and form an opinion based on what I've actually seen. And if you're doing that, great. I'm just not going to make those kinds of leaps. I don't have anything to indicate that yet. 1-2 episodes, fall finale, there could be like a big revelation and that's what the revelation is. Then I can move forward on that point. But until then, it's just idle speculation. And I just feel like there's already so much of it around this show. Do we need to invent more? Is kind of where I am with it. Does that make sense?
I say invent as much as you want.
I have no problem with inventing as much as you want, but you can't just cherry pick. I mean, if you're gonna do that, you should look at the whole of the show. And the dialogue that you picked also works in the context of it's just Katarina Rostova. She's known by many names. I mean, when Rev was talking, he said, I knew her as Katarina Rostova, but she goes by many names. Just that one person. He never makes any indication that that there's multiple Katarina Rostovas. So there's no indication from that would be the case.
We agree to disagree, potentially.
Okay. And
which apparently is what people love about this show.
Sometimes, sure. I just don't like going in circles. I mean, if something new comes up, that's when we'll talk about it and we should bring it up, and then we can spitball back and forth. But if there's nothing, and here in this particular episode, there are several instances where it totally makes sense that it is absolutely Katarina Rostova. She refers to Ilya as, now, could it be like they recruited her to take her place? But the Townsend Directive is directly to kill Katarina Rostova. So if there's multiple, so the directive exists to just anybody named Katarina Rostova, bunches of them just running around. There's only one 007 at a time, by the way.
Right. And so at this point in time, maybe she's held the Katarina Rostova designation for as long as possible. That
just happens to be the same age?
Could be.
Just happens to be good friends with Ilya and know exactly who he is?
Well, they work together in Belgrade.
Right. And that's also, Dom and Red, and I don't know. I think there's just the one question people keep coming up, and I've heard this a lot, is especially since this whole Ilya revelation, is, well, Aaron, they wouldn't just, because I've said Red could be an uncle, very close family friend, somebody maybe who's adopted, we don't know.
In my mind, been Ilya.
Yeah, it's just somebody that they've been friends for years, and it could have been those three were friends for years. Absolutely could have been that. That's a plausible theory. And they said, well, that would be bad for a show to introduce a character this late in the game. And I just want to point out, Ilya was introduced last season. And how many shows introduce the big bad the final season? It's totally common. It happens all the time. And why would you introduce a character that you wouldn't need to really know about until you need to know about them?
And for the record, Aaron said other shows introduced big bads in the final season. Aaron did not say this is the final season, just for the record.
No, I did not. No. I'm just saying, like, once you get up to it, this is the last season, and then a big revelation leads to a big bad that the final season would then go after. I'm not saying that is this case. I'm just saying there's plenty of instances where that were the case.
But the double O Rostova theory does not prove the Red Arena theory. And I still don't believe in the Red Arena theory. I stick to my statement there.
But I'm just saying that because you said it, and now you're like, crap, I said it.
No, because if you believe in Red Arena, which is an amalgamation of Red and Katarina, this is Katarina Rostova today. But the mother theory could still be in play.
Oh, I'm done. All right, I'm done. Seriously. Did you hear that? That's a sound of desperation. Next week's profiling question. How does one extract memories?
Yeah,
how does one do it?
What's up with this? We got the new guy with the hat.
I like that guy.
Is he the guy that took Liz's memories?
Maybe. I hope so.
Because that would be a cool twist.
And maybe this guy or someone like him took Katarina so she doesn't know. Maybe that's what she needs to know, what happened before Belgrade, so she knows why they're after her.
Maybe they took her memories in Belgrade.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You never know.
The whole show will be a memory soon if we don't keep moving along. So thanks to all that answered this week. Now, before we miss out on Casino Night, let's go ahead and dig into this week's case profile.
So we're just not going to accept that it's even possible it's Katarina Rostova? Like the Katarina Rostova?
I can accept it.
It doesn't feel like it.
I thought it was cool. It was a cool idea. I like cool things.
Okay. All right.
I like pink and blue balloons too.
It was different. Yeah, whatever. You even pulled that out of your ass. All right, so number 162, the Hawaladar. I'm just going to call it the big H. Seriously, I can't do it. I mean, no disrespect, but I have a problem with long words.
You just can't talk Hawaiian. It's like talking Hawaiian, but instead this time you actually pronounce the consonants instead of the vowels.
Like mahala.
Yeah.
Bam. There you go. I speak Hawaiian.
Hawaladar.
Mahala. That's all. Hawaladar. That's close enough. Skip gets another visit, and we learn he has a family with 2 daughters. And she did everything through a holiday in London, which leads him back to New York. Katarina used this to finance 2 services, but the one we're really focused on is the Orion Relocation Services. The Hawaladar is a type of IOU service that criminals use to trade money without using banks, so governments cannot trace it. This is a really cool concept. This is a really cool concept I didn't know existed. Essentially, the criminal gives the cash to a Hawaladar, who then gives another Hawaladar, wherever the job is, a green light to carry out the action.
Do you really not know how to say it, or are you just being funny? I just want to know.
Sincerely, that's just how I speak. Yeah.
Hawaladar.
Big H.
There you go.
So the Big H is a type of IOU service. Red needs a task force to help him win over the Big H. Bhavish Ratna, and so he can get information on the Orion Relocation Services, which will lead him to Ilya before anything awful happens to him, is what he hopes. But it really looks like a lot of awful things are happening to poor Ilya.
Dude tried to kill himself.
Why? Why would he do that?
No idea. That should be the question.
Did he hear your theory, maybe? Like she played a podcast and then she just left the room and he's like, I am done. I am done with this guy. Ratna's moving $3.5 million to Eli Atticus, an extraction specialist who is gonna bust out a dude from the hospital, Furious 7 style, and just like kill everybody. Which we always forget about. Have you seen the Fast and Furious movies? They just forgot Jason Statham like killed all those hospital employees.
That's right.
Whatever. The patient was an undercover agent, Alfred Yang, who threatened to bring down the Zhao crime syndicate.
You get Zhao right, but you can't get Hawaladar right.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I said Zhao wrong too. So I offend equally because I am a bit poor with the words.
So
what did you think about this plot this week?
Yeah, I like the Hawaladar concept. Transferring
How do
money.
you say that so smoothly? Seriously, I am not
because I've been
trying to be
practicing
funny.
it for like over a week.
I just kept hearing them in the show going, how did you guys do that so smoothly? I've tried to say it and I can't get it. So I'm really
going
to Big H.
In between each thing. Hawaladar.
Hawaladar.
There you go. Congratulations. Good job.
I'm going back to Big H. I like it.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. I like the concept. It was really just a means to an end this week. So it didn't really tie into the mythology overall.
What do you think of those NBC ads? Like, all the answers will, what do they say? Secrets will be revealed or something along those lines. And it's like, I don't think so.
Dana Cerrone told us last week. Thanks, NBC. Because it would have been a reveal if Cerrone wanted to put it out on Twitter to confirm it. Because then it would have been a reveal.
I think it was revealed at the end of the episode, so that's not really a reveal.
I think astute viewers that watch a lot of entertainment like us, we were like, oh, the look on his face, definitely Ilya. But there'd be general audience members that probably would go, I don't know, it was red flat. So like we talked about last week.
I think 99% of all people would have said it's Ilya because she opens the door and said, Ilya, been a long time. That's kind of the dead giveaway.
But like he said, Katarina, and then she stabbed him.
So I don't know what secrets were revealed, but I keep telling people, don't watch the NBC promos, and we love NBC and whatnot.
I don't watch the promos.
I know, but a lot of people do, and then you'll see them post online, and they're like, oh, did you see the trailer? I'm like, don't listen to that because secrets aren't going to be revealed.
They never have.
No, I mean, no, I don't think that's fair. We do get layered by layer, and it's just a matter of how much I think we read too much into them sometimes and not enough into them sometimes, if you think that's even possible. It's just a matter of, big secrets are going to come out mid-season finale, season finale, that sort of thing. If it's a major reveal, it's not going to happen 2 weeks before the mid-season finale, my opinion.
Now, the only thing about this episode that I maybe didn't like was what about the Zhao crime syndicate and Eli Atticus?
That's how you say it.
What does Red get out of them being off the board?
I don't really think it had anything to do with that. He just was trying to get to the Orion Relocation Services.
So it was literally just a, hey, thanks a lot for
coincidence
for getting me Bhavish Ratna. And so, hey, Cooper, here's a throw me back.
Found this out too. Here, go get him. I had to throw it back because I just humiliated you. Because he humiliated them in the park.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, so he was just trying to get them back in his good grace. And Cooper explained that. He said, sometimes he does this. He screws us over and we're like, shucks. And then he'll throw us another bone and we're like, we got a bust. So it all works out in the end. And that's what he's trying to explain to Park. And she's all, Wrestler season 1.
And the Hawaladar lives another day.
I really wish I could do that. I really do. Let's get into characters. Music.
As the episode concludes this week, as Liz tries to determine what happened at the park, we hear Bury the Shadows by Ryan Kidner. Or Kinder. One of those two things. Heard it both ways. Anyways, you can find all the playlists on Spotify and Apple Music. We have links to both of those over on the show notes over at theblacklistexposed.com or in your podcast player. Just swipe right up or down depending on which app you're using.
All right. Well, Glenn is back. That was pretty cool, right? See Glenn back?
Got the dice going up there.
Yeah, he's trying to throw a little casino night. That was fun, but he gets wailed on by Red in this episode because he thinks Glenn isn't moving his ass fast enough. Red does apologize a little later, but I'm really curious. What did you think about Red being an absolute dick to Glenn?
I could see where Red would be because he's stressed out. Ilya is clearly someone that is super important to him, more than Glenn would be. And even though he does come back and apologize to Glenn later on in the episode, which I thought was really astute and upright and uplifting and all those other kinds of words that I can't think of right now. It was good to see him actually apologize because he does have a long history with Glenn, and they shared a drink at the campfire back in season 5 and all that fun stuff. But at the same time, we work in IT, or used to work in IT, mm-hmm. and people have that, hey, this is broken, fix it now, and we have to do troubleshooting. You have to let the thing take its course. You have to run the log files. You got to do all kinds of stuff to actually
put your feelers out.
Yeah, you got to take time to solve the problem. So I don't think that it was fair. So I'm glad that Red apologized because it takes time to do the things right. Because if anybody's going to find the Orion Delivery Services or whatever it was going to be Glenn, and Glenn actually pulled through.
Which he did. The only thing I will say to that, which by the way was a great scene, because Spader leaned into it. He didn't back away from it. He didn't play it soft or anything like that. He just went after him, and it was really mean. It was mean.
It felt like the Red of season 1, season 2 Red.
He was really belittling him and letting him know he lords over him and making him feel small. And a lot of things that I need to remind people, he is a bad guy, even if people don't want to acknowledge it. Sometimes I think we really forget that Red is a bad guy. And that was a moment where I'm like, man, he's not your friend. I'm sorry, Glenn. I mean, we sit back and go, oh, yeah, well, they have fun together and, it's cute and everything else. But at the end of the day, he's not going to pick him over whatever he needs. Whatever he needs comes first.
It's a very selfish. Said, I allow you to make this crap happen.
Yep. It was just like everything was belittling and almost like a beaten partner syndrome, you know what I mean? So that was a very harsh and brutal moment. And if I was Glenn, I would remember that.
I'd love to know what happens on set, right before that moment and after that moment. Just work up
to it.
They yell cut and then everybody's like, just kidding, buddy.
I'm sure. Yeah. But it was a very, very intense scene. And though he apologized and they did the whole guy thing, where they just shake it off, no big deal. It was pretty I gotta say, I walked away much more sympathetic to Glenn and less sympathetic to Red.
Yeah, Clark played it really well too. I mean, he looked scared.
I don't like people talking down to people, even if it's in television shows. So I was like, We
didn't have to talk down to him. He was sitting down in the chair. He could have stood up.
Troy, I can't. I just can't with you. All right. So he does say that he's going to casino night and always bet on Red. That was, That was pretty funny.
It was funny.
That was funny. Never saw Passenger 57 though, huh? All right. Dembe was just a background character. Didn't really do a whole lot. He was just standing there all stoic and looking badass like he does. Cooper gives Red a piece of his mind over screen wrestler and Parkover. Then we kind of already talked about that. And then he walks back because they get what they need. Aside from that, I don't know if Cooper really had any big moments this episode.
Is that like a charade?
What's
a charade?
What a charade?
Where Cooper's just like, Red, screw you, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yep, that's what he does. He just kind of does that thing, and then we kind of get a new thing, and we go follow the lead. So,
no, I think he was trying to back up. I think he was trying to back his people, and then Red made it right because he does that, whenever he realizes Cooper is not happy with him, he throws him a bone, tries to make it work a little better for him.
Well, he didn't know he was going to get the bone, though. That's the thing.
No, he didn't. But he was yelling at. He was basically, you screw my people over. We're on speakerphone. I'm letting them know that I'm yelling at you. And then he's kind of like, hey, that's on them. You gave them orders. They followed it. So it's just you and I that have a problem. I don't owe them anything, which was
true.
Yeah. He was having a very selfish episode this week because he cares about his friend, Ilya, the character we only met last season.
The character that is so important to him that he'll do anything, including throw a meatball sandwich at a window.
Was that what it was?
It looked like a meatball sandwich. I mean, it had the red sauce, so
I don't know if that's gonna come out. I feel like it would stain.
If nothing else, it can get rid of those blinds because those are like the old classic 50s blinds. Get some wood blinds in there or something.
Who has those blinds anymore, really?
Seriously.
Well, I guess the DMV. If anybody's going to have them, be the DMV, right?
Government office. Cooper's probably got them in his office, too.
Ram, very, in the background most of the episode. How come you've been here for all of 5 minutes and you're already more jaded than wrestler? That was a great line. And then followed up with the no offense.
I laughed at that one more than I laughed at the always bet on red, to be quite honest.
Well, always bet on red. It was just like a cheesy smile. It's just like, okay, that's fair. That's funny. But the Aram line, that was great. Well delivered. Wrestler, again, we've got Park now, so of course Wrestler is relegated to the background a little bit more, and he is definitely jaded. Outside of his bitching fight scene, were you sad that we have not gotten? I mean, really, Wrestler's just functioning as the action set piece guy.
That's all he was ever in first season too, though.
I know, but I mean, he's had like more backstory, and I always like when I think we're going to get more Wrestler, and then we don't.
I don't know. I thought it was great because it was like a throwback to season 1 when we had the drinking game of how many times Wrestler was going to get punched in the face.
Hair didn't move, by the way. That dude just got pummeled down. Everything else, his hair still looked great.
The sad part was during the fight scene, I really was like, okay, he's grabbing a hospital badge. What is he going to do? Like, beat him with it?
That was clever, right? That was clever.
Well, I didn't know he was going to put it in his pocket because at first I'm just like, is he going to like throw it at him? Is he going to like try to like pinch his nose with the pincher on the end? Like, what is he going to do with the hospital badge? But yeah,
I didn't know I didn't know it had a GPS tracker in it. So that's new.
Yeah. I mean, your badge cards at work have like a magnetic strip in it, don't they? To like door access or whatever. You beep the door.
But can you track them like GPS?
You could, yeah. Cisco makes products like that where
then I'm going to be throwing this away. Yep.
Could be you walk close enough to the building, it can actually swipe you into the time clock, so you don't even have to swipe the time clock.
I get that, but I mean, like I can find my private location where I'm shooting, DEA agents or whatever. I don't know. That just feels wrong.
Hey, Google already knows it, so what difference does it make?
Well, that's about it from Wrestler. But it was a great fight scene. I really dug that fight scene. It was like a real life and death kind of scene, and the whole shootout in the hospital was fun.
And then he passes out after he gets let go. Did you notice that? Like he was choking him, sleeper hold, and he goes down and he's like trying to catch his breath and trying to breathe, and then he passes out.
Well, I'm sure that might happen.
I
don't know. I never tried to point him. You know what? For Christmas, I'll do you a solid, or we're going to do this chokehold. We'll see how long it takes you.
Sweet.
Yep.
I'm in.
Yes!
We'll film it. We'll put it on the YouTube channel.
Now I am pumped up for the holiday. Woohoo!
Just search for the Blacklist Exposed on YouTube and you can find the YouTube channel.
I'm not going to video that. I don't want evidence. All right, Park. She's very frustrated with how Red used the FBI here. She better get used to it. That's going to happen quite a bit.
And that's got to
like every week.
And that's got to stop really quickly. Because like
how so?
The whole like, really, what's he all about? Why are we doing this? It's like, don't be the wrestler from like 10 years ago, because we already did that 10 years ago. New story, move forward. I mean, this was fine, like this one episode, because she's understanding the concepts and trying to figure it all out. But if she questions it every week, it'll get tired really fast.
Yeah,
my opinion.
Park thinks Red is scared though, and this thing is going to get worse before it gets better. What do you think about that line?
She's got some intuition in her, which she should, being an FBI agent. She could actually like, something fishy looks here. I don't know. Maybe I should investigate that.
And now, what's she got? Is she 3 episodes deep now?
Yeah, sounds right.
1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
Where are you at? Are you still on Team Park?
At this point, and she was actually like, shot the guy and then was chasing him down the stairways after Wrestler passed out on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look, Bojan's back.
Oh.
Except she didn't have curly hair. And then I was like, oh, it's Park.
She's got a different presentation though.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like I'm okay with it. I still don't think we needed the character, but we don't know what the character with the Anchorage stuff, and we don't know where that's going to go yet. So maybe there's some bigger story with her.
I will tell you that, and granted, it's only 3 episodes, so it's very, very early. But and I love Samar. Great character. Not taking anything away from it, but she's always very, very dry. And Park has a little bit more personality in that respect. So I do like that. I do like that she is
a little more chipper.
I don't know if chipper's the right word, but just energy, has more energy, less dry, less sardonic, which you'd think I prefer sardonic, but I got enough of that with me. I don't need that with all my characters. I just like Park. I just feel like she's kind of a breath of fresh air, even though it takes away from some of the other characters getting bigger arcs. But I do like her character quite a bit.
You could say sardonic, but you can't say Hawaladar.
I know, it's a weird conundrum.
I don't even know if that word that you just used actually works in that context because I have no idea what that word is.
You don't know what sardonic means?
No.
Well, I guess you got a fun thing to play with.
I will. I'll go Google it later.
And you can use it in a theory next week. Speaking of theories, Ilya. It's really Ilya. It's confirmed.
Confirmed.
Even though we kind of confirmed it last week, but it's confirmed. Are you surprised
that this was Ilya?
Yeah.
No, because that was one of the two scenarios that we came up with out of last season. Bench guy is Ilya or red is Ilya, but one of those two guys is Ilya. We had a 50-50 shot on that one.
I mean, once he shows up on the bench, it's kind of like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay. And does that make, there are many, many people, I don't know how many there are anymore, but there are many people who still believe red is Katarina, and this probably helps you feel more strongly about that, I would imagine, if you're still on that theory.
It definitely makes them more back in play.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Katarina on screen, but here's my thing. I feel like we're going to get an episode that focuses on Katarina soon, I have to imagine. And when that happens, then we'll have a full or more full picture of that scenario. And then we can put theories. I'm hoping we can put some theories to bed, because I really feel like, because I remember at the beginning of the season, they teased that at some point Liz was going to have a conflict, like whose side should she be on? And to this point, we're what, eight episodes in? Yeah. That hasn't happened yet, which means she's not aware, and she is slowly becoming aware of the sleepy man and everything else. So I feel like that might be what we're going to look for at, mid-season finale, as maybe Liz finding out that she's Katarina and then her having to decide whose side she's going to land on. Mm-hmm. Because that's what was teased at the beginning of the season.
It was.
It was. I remember that in many interviews, and I haven't seen it yet play out. So I keep looking for that to happen, but we don't know. I mean, you never know where it's going to go. So many people say Katarina's fake. Maybe Ilya's fake. Maybe everybody's fake. Maybe Liz is fake. Maybe she's not really Masha.
Are you really Aaron?
Maybe Cooper's not Cooper. Maybe Wrestler. Maybe Wrestler's red. At this point, I'm not taking anything off the table. So how do you think that memory extractor thing is going to get at his memories?
I don't know how he's going to get at his memories, but I'm just really excited to find out what memories are in there. I'm like, dude, do we have to eat turkey next week? Can't we just go dig into his brain? Come on.
No, we have to eat turkey.
Damn. All right.
We do. I'm going to watch Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. That's what I'm going to do.
There you go. You get your Katarina fill that way.
I'll get my Katarina fill that way. And if you didn't know, she's in that movie. It's a great movie. Best Thanksgiving movie ever. I cry every time.
So good. So good.
Do you cry every time at the end?
Not every time at the end. Just depends on how I'm feeling when I watch it.
You should cry every time. It hits me right in wherever my heart would be. It's right there.
It brings up some good memories.
Oh. Well, here's a quote. The Townsend Directive is real. They're coming for you. Troy, what's the Townsend Directive?
My understanding at this point is that the Townsend Directive is a standing kill order for Katarina Rostova.
Okay.
Whoever gets to her first.
He said, quote, the Townsend Directive is real. They're coming for you. But it does play into what you were saying earlier. I get what you're saying.
Right. They're coming for Katarina Rostova, whoever that may be.
My guess is it would be Katarina Rostova.
Because at this present time, this person is Katarina Rostova.
Do you believe it's not her now?
Do I believe that this person is Liz's mom? Is that the question?
Yeah. Or are you undecided? You could be undecided. It's okay. I mean, I feel like people don't want you to, because until everything's ruled out.
You always yelled at me all those times ago, like I couldn't make a choice. So I always been forced now to make a decision.
That's not true.
I'm undecided.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, there's reason, I suppose, to lean that way. I understand. I mean, I'm just going to accept it until I see evidences otherwise.
In my heart of hearts, deep down, I still want Red to be Liz's mom. But
I'm sure you do.
But right now, with this information right now on screen, I'm undecided. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Well, then he says, what's that?
I'm just enjoying the ride for the change. Are
you enjoying it? Because you just did a whole lot of research just to write some lines down.
No, because I like
that fit your.
Because this is what I like. I like the theorizing part of the show. Now that we have some,
that makes sense.
Yeah, we have stuff that we can theorize again. It's like, okay, now we're back into what we used to do back in season 2 and 3. This is fun. I like it.
But But there's nothing new that made that theory. Like, you're just going back, digging for stuff that'll make a theory work. Is that the same?
Isn't that what we did for 6 years?
No, it was always like new information and then that built on the theory. I just don't feel like we've got anything to build on that with yet. I know we will in the next 2 weeks. We'll get new information.
So by the Ilya reveal being new, it removes Red being Ilya, which means you have to go back to who is Red. Therefore, could it still work? That's all I was doing.
For that to work, a whole lot of people have to not be who they say they are. And then it just at some point becomes Days of Our Lives, which got renewed as way.
The whole Elizabeth might not be Masha theory came back up again. I saw that on the interwebs this week.
And Raymond Reddington is the real father is still alive. That's the other one that came back, and it's like
that one I cannot buy.
It was put to bed several times, even by the showrunners, by Cerrone, Mr. Twitter. So I mean, it's just put to bed. I feel like we're rambling at this point. Katarina, let's go to Katarina, aka Maddie, aka Constance, aka whomever you are, lady. He's not my friend. Talking about Ilya. When you asked me to help you in Belgrade, I never thought you'd betray me. These are some quotes she says. I thought a lot about why you chose me as the lamb you took to slaughter, which I could see how that could be. They chose her to be the new Katarina Rostova. I could see that. So I'm acknowledging. I don't necessarily believe that, but I'm not ruling it out because I do see how you could go there.
I appreciate the acknowledgement. Much love.
I'm not acknowledging like that whole thing was right. I'm just saying I firmly acknowledge and have that, yes, this could be someone that was selected to play a part. I don't believe that based on things she said. But you never know. The whole memory thing makes it complicated.
And I'm glad she brought up Belgrade because that means there's more to Belgrade and hopefully we get a Belgrade episode.
Well, they've already said that like 10 times. I mean, every time they mention whatever went wrong with Dom and everybody else, it's Belgrade. So Belgrade is where all the problems are.
But we didn't know that Ilya was part of Belgrade. Now we know Ilya is part of Belgrade too. We thought it was just Red, Dom, and her from the second episode of the season. Correct?
Well, I mean, Dom and yeah. They were all involved in Belgrade though. And Red was there too.
Yes.
So there you go. All right. Is very passionate about getting those memories back. Whatever his memories are. We still don't really know what she wants. We know what the Townsend Directive is, the standing order to kill Katarina Rostova, and apparently Ilya and Red are the only ones that can help her escape him or give them something to, I don't know, what does she want? Any theories on that?
She wants proof that she's not Katarina Rostova.
God, I can't do it. I mean, that would actually work, so I'm not ruling it out. It just makes my head hurt.
That and your stiff drink.
Yeah, I'm still drinking. Trust me. She at least can justify. Plus, I saw a movie tonight, so I'm a little tired. She at least can justify what Dom did since she thought he was protecting Masha. She says that. Mm-hmm. She calls her alleged daughter by her alleged name. Thought that was interesting. You know, like Katarina Rostova would do. But Ilya and Red did something else entirely. What does that mean?
I don't know. There's a lot to unpack in this conversation, and I have to watch it a couple times to really
Secrets will be revealed.
Yeah, like enjoy your turkey because you're gonna spit it all out of your mouth when we tell you the truth next week.
I can't believe he tried to hang himself.
That was the most interesting part of the episode for me. I'm like, what is so special about Red? If this is really Katarina, and we know that Ilya and Katarina had some kind of Ilya had a thing for Katarina back in Rosviet. And why would he be willing enough to hang and kill himself just to protect something from this guy?
And she was extremely emotional about Ilya trying to kill himself. She had a near breakdown because he was trying to kill himself.
Yeah, why would you die to protect him? Yeah.
How could he be willing to die to protect him?
After all they've been through, why won't you help me?
Yep.
I don't know, because you wouldn't sleep with them back in Roswell.
Sounds to me like there's a connection. She got awfully emotional for someone who's, some people feel is not who she says she is. It just feels like every reaction she had in this episode was a natural reaction. And last episode where she had the breakdown about men running her life. I mean, all these things, yes, could play into what you were saying earlier. But more likely, it plays into Katarina Rostova, who she is and what she's been through and what has happened through the course of her life.
Hey, look, the thing is that we have to always look back and go, we still do not know 25 years of history that have happened.
Thank you.
We're always looking at it like what we've seen, and what we see was at this point now 30 years ago Showtime. I mean, I have my 25th high school reunion coming up here. I think it's next year, and I'm just going like, I don't know anything about the people that I went to high school with anymore. I kept in touch with maybe like 3 or 4 of them. Like, would I even recognize any of the people from high school from 25 years ago? And so you still have that playing into it. Like, there's just so much history we don't know about, stuck in the middle.
And that's what I keep trying to come back to. And when I've talked to people, listeners and fans of the show and whatnot, it's just, you know, you can't base everything you think on what you've seen, because whatever the background is, we haven't seen it yet. So whatever it is, it's going to be a whole lot of information that we don't know yet. Now, a lot of things out there, sure, possible, plausible. You can make them work, yada, yada, yada. But you have to remember, there's a lot of story that whatever happened in this history that we have never even heard of.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep that in mind. Like, this could take a completely different direction, and all this makes sense. And this is definitely Katarina. It's definitely Ilya. It's definitely whoever Red is. And without a problem, just by having one episode that fills in that backstory. That's the big thing. Like, we don't have the pieces. We have a puzzle, and we have a lot of pieces on the board, and it makes it look like we can figure. Everybody has a picture based on their puzzle pieces, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just like any other puzzle. You're going to fill in those gaps with what you think should be there. It might be different from what the actual puzzle is.
For all we know, something happened in Belgrade in 2007, and it started the whole financial collapse. And this is really just a banking show. I mean, it is about the Hawaladar after all. So
that would be bum. I'm not going to try that one again. All right. When Liz confronts her about Agnes's drawing, she manipulates the situation to fit a narrative that it's Liz's job that is causing these issues. That part I thought was just a bit outside of nice. She basically just made it Liz's fault.
Well, I liked the back and forth. It was almost like sparring with your eyes.
I will say this, okay, just to make everybody listening feel a little better. The only thing that gives me pause on Katarina being Katarina Rostova, which is why I won't rule it out, that she's not, that she, is that I haven't yet heard her refer to Liz directly or Agnes directly as my daughter and granddaughter. When I hear that, I mean, I'm already, in my mind, I'm already there because I don't have any evidence to suggest otherwise as of yet. But in my mind, that's kind of what solidifies it for me. Does that make sense?
But she can't say that because it'll blow her cover.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, that's the only thing that makes me go, yeah, I'm 100%. I mean, I'm pretty close to, I'm up there. I mean, sure, it could switch and, I just got to roll with it, but I'm pretty close. I'm 70%, roughly 70%. This is Katarina, if not probably 90. But as soon as I hear that, I'm like, all right, I'm done. If they tried to walk back from that, I would have a hard time with it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You get something concrete like that, you can't walk back. Yep. Like, oh, Red was Ilya the whole time. You just told me that the guy that was hanging himself was Ilya. What are you talking about? Yeah.
At the end, the witch doctor arrives. We'll find out more about him next week, but he's the memory guy.
Ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah.
Ting-tang, wah-wah, bing-bang. By the way, no episode next week. Reminder, watch Layla on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's it. Liz, she's profiling again. Yay! Once Agnes tells her about the sleepy man, because Liz learns of a creepy-ass drawing, Liz begins to look into it. She profiles. And first she confronts Maddie, air quotes, Maddie, and then she goes to the park, finding the smashed glass, hair, and blood as she cleans her shoes in the bathroom sink. So, methinks Liz is on to her now. What you thinks?
Well, it definitely is like, I don't want her hanging around with my daughter. That's for sure.
Didn't seem like that yet.
Well, now that she did go back and talk to her and confront her face to face after she found the hair and blood on the mirror.
That's true.
Which she did take a sample of it, didn't she? Because she grabbed a paper towel.
No, the paper towel she was cleaning off her shoes with.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see her take a sample.
It was very deliberate. Like, she was looking at it and getting closer, and then she grabbed the paper towel, and I thought maybe she grabbed a clump of hair from the mirror.
No, she was cleaning off her shoes.
Well, then she's not profiling, because I would have taken a clump of hair and ran a DNA test on it.
Maybe you're a better profile. I don't know. All right, so she's starting to get on to her. It'd be interesting to know where she goes from here. Red definitely loves him some Ilya. I mean, or her, whatever you're into. And is willing to do just about anything to find Ilya. Loves Ilya. Ilya is the man.
It's his friend from a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Sets his whole case up to get to that money man who has the name of the service Katarina employed, the Orion Relocation Services, which is a witness protection for criminals. Mm-hmm. We understood it.
Mm-hmm.
And did we have this before, something like this before, or am I just imagining that? I felt like it feels familiar, but I could be thinking like another show or something.
Well, there was the van guy who transported people for Nicholas T. Moore, where Samar then was in the van.
Maybe that's what you're thinking of. Maybe. But this is, they're trying to track down exactly where in the world is Ilya Koslov. It's like Carmen Sandiego, but with Ilya.
Even though it's a salad with mayonnaise.
And Ilya Koslov?
Coleslaw, yeah.
Oh my God. Dad jokes. Such a dad joke. All right, some fun quotes from Red. Normally I charge 20% on a cash loan, but I can go as low as 19. It was his own money.
That was the best part. It's like the skateboarder came through and I'm like, that's totally Red's person that just took that bags.
It was his own money. I thought that was great. And I watched it twice. I didn't catch that the first time. I'm like, wow, he's really giving him a loan. And then the second time I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss that? That was just dumb. Nothing voices contrition better than silence. That's what his third executioner said, which I like in Rustler's play. He's got 3 executioners. That was a great line.
I was trying to think of if for the third executioner, if that was a third person at his execution in season 6, or if he's actually been almost executed 3 times.
I think the latter. I think he's almost been executed 3 times.
I want to learn about those other 2 times. We need those stories.
Got a lot of history, a lot of backstory. We haven't got that.
Apparently, a blowfish might have been one of them.
But I'm pretty much certain that is the majority of the episode. I feel like we've covered everything, and all he wants to do is save his friend, which is not going to be this week.
Nope.
So overall, what did you think of this particular episode? This isn't like 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh, no.
This one, you liked it better now?
This is what we would call a good episode. Very much Blacklister. Very much the puzzle piece that you have to put into place in order to do the 2 bam bam for the finale.
Yeah. I'm really stoked for where we're going to go, because I just feel like the mid-season finale is going to be a huge cliffhanger. Because, you're going to be gone for 3 months, so I think they're going to leave us with a big one.
3 months? Oh my God, it's such a long time. Why do they have to go over 3 months?
That is a long time.
Yeah, no, it's not 2 years, people. Westworld goes away for 2 years. 3 months is nothing.
You know how hard it is to do that podcast, to stay invested in that show? Because you got to remember a lot of that stuff. You got to rewatch the whole damn season before the new one comes out, because it's been so long.
You got to watch all 20 episodes again.
I do. All right. Well, we want to take a quick second to say there's more show. Don't leave yet. We got to say thank you to those of you that are supporting the show by going to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/theblacklistgsm, or as we like to call it, the Blacklist Exposed Plus. Special big thanks to our honorary blacklisters, Doug and Patricia, as well as our task force members, Lacey, Marilyn, Judy, and Sharon. All of these people receive cool gifts from us, and you can get a cool gift as well for donating at the $20 level or higher. Plus, if just 10 people pull the trigger at the $20 level, we will reach our goal of doing the podcast live for you to watch us bicker and fight in 4K.
Ooh,
I don't think they want to see me in 4K.
Yeah, they do.
Ever. I don't want to see me in 4K. I'm not going to comb my hair.
I can see in real life. That's scary enough.
Do I have to wear pants?
The $20 is too steep. Our $5 level gets you early access to all the special episodes and interviews before anyone else. Like the special interview Aaron will have for us December 1st about Taking Lives, a movie John Bokenkamp wrote, and Aaron interviewed John, and it's a really good interview. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear it on December 1st. So go ahead and now to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/theblacklistgsm. Hit the $ in your podcast app or the link in the show notes. Fill the fedora, and you'll be all set to go with a $5 donation. And we had a new $5 contributor this week. So awesome. Keep it coming.
Thank you.
Keep it coming.
Thank you.
Happy
So listen to
holidays.
this episode, and they're like, Aaron, you're so bitchy.
That's what everyone says about you.
Which is fair. You know what? It's not fair, because you're pretty bitchy yourself.
So far this season, I have been, yeah.
They just don't hear it as often.
I mask it.
You cover it. You cover it well.
I do. We'll be back with Red's Rhetoric right after this.
There's something really strange about the town called Castle Rock.
And J.J. Abrams and Hulu are bringing some of Stephen King's Castle Rock stories to life. Or to death.
Join us, Jeff Gentry and Wayne Henderson, in the Castle Rock Zone as we share your thoughts about each episode of Hulu's Castle Rock.
Listen and subscribe to the podcast and be part of the fun at CastleRockZone.com. Part of the Golden Spiral Media Podcast Network.
Hey guys, this is John Bokenkamp, the creator of The Blacklist. You are listening to The Blacklist Exposed on Golden Spiral Media.
Welcome to Red's Rhetoric, that part of the show where we feature 2 of Red's scenes from the show, and then you get to vote which is your favorite. Over on the website, just look for the Hawaladar post at theblacklistsexposed.com. Yes, I emphasize that for Aaron's sake. Now, our first clip this week comes when Red seeks out the Hawaladar.
Sit any way you like.
Knight to F3. You know, chess was originally devised in India. Back then it was called Ashtapada.
I know who you are.
And it only seems fair I should know who you are.
Arjun.
Listen carefully, Arjun. 2 weeks ago, someone from this establishment delivered a cash payment to a man named Sutherland. Might I assume it was you? Good. That payment was made on behalf of a woman I'm looking for. Did she contact you? Focus, Arjun. If you need to, by all means, check your notes.
Notes? No. I remember. The payment was requested by New York, our main office.
Tell me about the main office.
It's a little place on 12th Street, Matangi. Look, I can be killed for telling you this.
On the other hand, you would definitely be killed for not telling me this.
New York. They run everything. The entire network.
How big is the network?
London 692, 1.3 million outgoing.
They have 34 outposts in 18 countries. All front is small restaurants locally owned. They make good on financial IOUs sent and received from around the world.
And the person who runs the network, they would have a record of the woman who paid Mr. Sutherland?
If he doesn't know, he knows who would.
I'll need his name.
Our second clip comes when Red chews out Glenn.
We talked about this. There is no casino night. There is nothing but me standing right in front of you. Look at me. This thing we do, this whole dynamic, my indulgence of your relentless nonsense, your insipid banter, I tolerate it. But don't lose sight of the fact that this is a business relationship. You're a finder. You exist to me because you find things. Are you telling me that you can't find what I need you to find? Because if that's the case, I will end this right now. And don't think I won't, because we have a history. If my friend dies because of you, Orion Relocation Services, find them.
Which is your favorite this week? If you enjoy a good strategy, vote #RedChess. Or if you are just sad about food waste, vote #RedSandwich.
I really want a meatball sandwich now.
You do. I'm starving.
I do. And I apologize if I've been a little less energetic this week. It was a really long week. It's been a long week at work, so I apologize if I seemed a little. My energy level just isn't quite there, and the alcohol hasn't kicked in yet. I must not have made it strong enough. But we do have some special agent intel. You want some?
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay. Sander Beck. What a bitchin' name. Seriously, that's a great name. Sander Beck? That is like an assassin or a bounty hunter.
Sounds like a malt beverage.
Or an assassin or a bounty hunter. That's what I'm going with. Why is everyone upset about last episode? It had a twist. We've got more information, and Iran was in the field. I get that the whole abortion bleep is a bit political, but come on. The story of this blacklister was, in my opinion, great because it was so crazy. So I don't get why people are giving this episode 1 star. Yeah, I have to add, there's a lot of people flooding IMDb, giving it 1 star. I would guess that's because of political affiliation or personal political affiliations, would be my guess, or where you stand on the whole heartbeat law debate.
Yeah, I everybody's entitled to their opinion, so not taking your opinions away from you. But man, it's a TV show. Just enjoy the TV show and have fun. If you want facts, watch the news.
I mean, but you have to. I mean,
it was a sensitive subject. I get it, but
I do get where you're coming from. But there are people that are very, very passionate about that, and they take it. And I come from a wonderful world where I get both sides, because half my family are Baptist preachers, and half my family are not. And my mother, God bless her soul, is right down the middle. She's a glorious moderate and has raised me to be an independent as well. So I get to see, I've seen both sides of reactions to these sorts of things, and I completely understand and sympathize. On the same token, going and I feel this way about anything. I mean, no matter which side you would have landed on, trashing an episode or giving it a review, unless you really felt like the episode was a one entertainment value wise, not personal agenda wise, I just don't feel like it's fair to the show that you obviously have stuck with for 7 years. So maybe, you know, if you dropped one of those ones and you really don't believe it was one, you were just upset about the subject matter, I just don't know if that's the right way to handle it. It's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, because there's lots of people that work on the show, and there's a lot of people that put a lot of heart and soul into the episode to make it
affects
good.
People when when you do that.
Yeah, it's not about.
I mean, I get being passionate about it though, because seriously, I actually had this conversation with my family, and they very, very vehemently believe. And that's twice in one episode I've used that word.
I know what that one means.
They believe in what they believe, whatever side they land on, and obviously, I feel like you can guess, and you know they're just very passionate about it. Everybody has a right to be passionate about whatever they're passionate about.
For sure.
It is a television show.
Yes.
I mean, it's okay they can't just ignore things that are out in the world. And there is science to back up some of the things that happened in last week's episode.
And I would say one thing the show has done over the years very well is made sure that it was rooted in some kind of actual practical science. Like the golden blood.
Most of it.
Yeah, the golden blood was science. The CRISPR's science. Maybe not the frozen people flying around in a plane. That part might not be science, but...
It's TV, though. You're always going to have stuff. For the most part, it's grounded.
Most part, it's grounded. It's always at least started with a grounding fact, and then they embellish a little bit just for, you know, sensationalism.
Although I did hear... I did hear a good argument that I don't feel like we touched on about last week's episode.
Okay.
Which was... Was it Hannah Hayes, right? Was that her name?
Yeah, that was correct.
Hannah Hayes. Okay. So
the alcohol must be kicking in if you can remember that.
I think it's starting to. I'm starting to get to the bottom of the glass. I believe the comment was based around, and maybe we touched it, maybe we don't. I don't recall, about how Hannah Hayes was basically doing. She was no better. She was just as bad, if not worse. She was doing what the comment was is that isn't what a true victim would want to do. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I got what they were saying. They just felt like instead of painting the victim as someone who deserves to be supported, painted her like a villain, and they didn't like that. I just thought like, okay, that's fair.
I would buy that comment because most victims probably would fall into that category, not the Hannah Hayes category, but the other one.
Yeah,
the difference with Hannah Hayes was that she was sent to jail for trying to have an abortion and then ended up having the baby in jail. That's going to mess you up mentally. So you are going to probably fracture a little bit, and that's why she was the way she was, holding that guy in the basement in the Gimp mask.
I mean, yeah, and it's the character. It's supposed to be fractured psyche and everything else. I'm just telling you that was one remark that I'm like, okay, I can get behind you on that. I get you.
All right. That's a good episode.
What else we got?
I like last week. Let's do some theories. Why not? We already did one. Let's do another one.
Just trying to make me quit. All right, what do we got?
So theorist,
I don't know what these are, so I'm here. Let's go.
Theorist Nancy over on Reddit read this one. I thought this one was pretty funny. I think Red is a replaced baby with another baby boy who is becoming Raymond Reddington later.
What?
What if it was not a coincidence, but an actual experiment? So we've seen plenty of mad scientists in the show again and again. Why is that? And a bad nurse in the show, a nurse portrays an evil role quite often, like Marguerite or Frankie. Pete's girlfriend, Lena, was a nurse who was engaged in some dangerous stuff for human experiments for a greedy pharmaceutical company.
Mm-hmm.
Meantime, who really takes care of someone wounded or ill is an ordinary person, not a nurse, like the African-American lady, Lulu, right, who helped Red in the apothecary, or the hunter who ended up saving Kaplan. Katarina told Dom and Rosviet that the government betrayed us very clearly. What betrayal of the government did she find? I wonder if Red's case was for experiment to test how nature or nurture gives influence to a child with no consent of each parents, of course. There might have been other examinees other than Red. So basically they groomed Red as a baby. And he was basically an experiment the whole time on psychology and nurture versus nature and to see how he would turn out.
That's what they call a long con, huh?
Yeah. But it would, I guess it would tie into the fact that there's some alias roots going on, because that would be like very Project Christmas-like.
Okay. I am not going to rule anything out. Carla Garfinkel, I am a true blue Red Arena believer. And you gave her to me.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Keep reading.
This on purpose.
Keep reading.
Carla, I'm sure you're a lovely person. I am a true blue Red Arena believer. However, I have accepted a private challenge to articulate the most coherent theory I have heard, assuming Red Arena is not true. Wow. Well, this just, hang on, let me get my beverage. Original Reddington was taken over by an imposter, Jane Spader, before Reddington entered the Navy. The imposter, Red, played by Spader, was KGB and childhood friends with Katarina, Ilya, and Sam, with Dom as their handler and a surrogate parent to the guys. Katarina knows Red, the man she is having an affair with, is only pretending to be an American, and she's known him since childhood. But she never blows his cover to Fitch or Kate, and even keeps up with the pretense that he is an American. Red is Liz's dad, and it is his blood on the shirt Cooper gets out of evidence since he became the imposter before the Navy. Cooper tested the shirt in a private lab, since what he did was illegal evidence tampering to get the match. So Red was not in CODIS prior to becoming a convicted felon. The bones could not be matched to Red because he was not in CODIS, so the bones must have been matched to Jennifer's dad through Jennifer's DNA in CODIS. It is Jennifer's dad and not Liz's dad who is the bag of bones. I like that, but they've already confirmed that Raymond Reddington is Liz's dad and he is dead.
But remember,
correct?
This guy is Raymond Reddington, so that would be a true statement today. Today, He is Raymond Reddington.
I'm confused on how.
Remember, like...
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they've went to great lengths to kind of nail that coffin shut. I mean, everybody is committed to it that Liz's dad is Raymond Reddington and he is dead.
The question still is why did Kaplan say, "I'm sorry, Katarina," when she dug up the bones? That's the one thing I still scratch my head about.
She didn't want her to dig it up.
And there was a K on the tree. I wonder.
Because Katarina buried him there.
That's true. That's true.
Or Katarina had her bury them there.
Yeah.
Had Mr. Kaplan bury them there.
Right.
So that one, it works out. And hey, if you're a true Red Arena believer, keep with it. You know, believe whatever you want and keep your theories, keep your details, and we'll all find out in the end. Somebody's right. A lot of people are wrong.
True.
We won't know for a while.
Ooh.
Woosa. Woosa.
Moving into the holiday. Getting a week off.
I am tired. What are you doing for the holiday? Anything exciting?
Indianapolis.
Like the city?
Going down to Indianapolis, the city. I'm gonna go east. Because I'm actually
for family, or are you going to a race or something?
Family, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the family members moved down there, so we'll go see their house and have some pizza, hang out.
For Thanksgiving?
Well, on Thursday, Thanksgiving, we'll have the normal turkey dinner family stuff here. But
okay. Whew.
For the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be in Indianapolis.
I'm having everybody at my house again.
Nice.
Yeah. So can I come with you?
Sure.
Just like pick me up on the way. Just everybody will show up. And where's everything? I don't know, but Aaron just left. Oh, that sucks.
Nope.
That's what I'm going for. I like that.
If you can't come with me to Minnesota for Christmas, and you definitely cannot come to Indianapolis with me for Thanksgiving.
Please get me out of here. So many people. All right. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
right?
2 weeks for 709.
Thanksgiving, there will not be an episode because there won't be an episode of The Blacklist.
I highly recommend that you sit down with all your family members instead of watching football and just go to Netflix and put on the first episode of The Blacklist and introduce all of your family to the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be good. And then you can all your family can argue like Troy and I do.
Exactly.
And what more, really, if anything says the holidays, it's that.
Right. No politics, no religion, no nothing. Just, he's her father. Oh. No, he's not. He's her father. No, he's not.
Don't do politics.
Imposter. No, he's not. He's her father.
You know what's really funny? This is just an aside, because we don't really talk personal stuff on the show very often. But my mom and dad are, I told you my mom's very independent. Mm-hmm. My dad is not. So they get into these ideological debates usually at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's fascinating because I'm just sitting there watching, just waiting for one of them to stab the other one with a spork or something. Because they just get in, it's like heated. And all I keep thinking is, do you go home? And then they said, no, we don't talk about it at home. I'm like, why? Why here? I don't understand it. But it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas brings it out. For some reason, we have to have politics. And I really hate talking politics because it's just like The Blacklist. Nobody's ever going to agree on anything. It's just like, why have a fight? It's just like, hey, you believe what you want. I don't care. And that's how I kind of live my life. But man, every Thanksgiving and Christmas, mom and dad are having at it about politics. And it's just sitting there going, and I just automatically agree with my mom because she's always right.
Yeah, for sure.
Just how it goes. All right, well, that's going to conclude this episode. 6 seasons are on Netflix, so now's the time to recommend The Blacklist to your friend, your enemy, your neighbor. And when you do, please also recommend that they listen and subscribe to the Blacklist Exposed podcast. All the case profiles can be found at theblacklistexposed.com and everywhere great podcasts and also sometimes above average, sometimes mediocre podcasts can be found.
I think it's a great idea to download a few of those for whatever traveling you're doing next week as you cruise across the states, if you're listening in the States or wherever you're doing around the world. It's always fun to go back and listen to some of those old episodes and hear how wrong we were way back when.
Yeah, you should listen to the whole collection and realize how many times we've walked things back or just completely ignored things we've said in the past. Shh, don't worry. You guys do it too. We know you do.
That's another good one.
My favorite theory fans are the ones that call like every theory just so they, no matter what, they got something right. That was my favorite. It's like, you just literally picked every possible theory. No, I didn't. You did. I just read it. Good for you. You covered all the bases. I respect that.
Well, if you want to see all of Aaron's theories, you can follow him on Twitter at Aaron Smirks. If you
got
want
like
to see
2.
Mine, you can follow me at Troy Heinrichs over on Twitter. Together we are at the Blacklist GSM. Talk about the show, the podcast, or your favorite type of sandwich. I'm just really hungry.
Big thanks for listening. Don't forget to answer our profiling question. How do you extract memories? Come up with something creative. Like, how would you get memories out of somebody's head? I want to know, outside of hypnosis. Come up with some clever stuff. That'd be fun.
I use Paul Mitchell shampoo, and I just put them in a trance, and then after that, I just burn my fingers into their head.
You know what I do? Here's how I would get information from somebody. You want to know?
Sure. Hit me.
Okay. Sit down. You ready?
I'm sitting.
What I do is I play that song from Silence of the Lambs. And then I rub a little lotion on the skin. And then I do that little dance every time somebody's going to tell me whatever I want to know to make me stop.
I sure would.
And you know what dance I'm talking about.
Images deleted.
You are welcome.
Wasn't there a show was it iZombie? That she ate the brains of the people and then she got the information. And that was the way she was the detective or whatever in that show.
I don't think that works. I don't know if the science is there on that one just yet. But you never know.
It would be very Blacklistery though, that's for sure.
It'd be pretty fantastic if that actually came up in the next episode. He just cracked Ilya's head open. I remember when Red was you. I remember that. All right, that's going to do it, guys. Take care.
Take care. Happy Thanksgiving if you're in the States, and enjoy around the world as well.
Glass is done. I'm out of liquor.
Until next time, I'm Agent Troy Heinritz. That's at Troy Heinritz on Twitter. And if you want to learn more about me, just visit, about.me/Troy Heinritz.
And I'm Agent Aaron Peterson. You can hear me talking about movies and TV on the Hollywood Outsider podcast, as well as Remake This Movie Right. We are available at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or on Twitter at 5popcorn. Be sure to subscribe, download the app, submit your feedback, but most importantly, keep yourself off of the Blacklist.
The Blacklist Exposed is a Golden Spiral Media production. Find more of our great podcasts at goldenspiralmedia.com/podcasts.
As the episode concludes this week, Liz trying to determine what happened at the park. We hear this.
What?
I can do Hawaladar, but I can't do Bury
the Shadows? It's a good song. I like that song.
Oh my gosh.